I feel like we need to just have a little bit of a discussion about like the current shape of UK card shows. Now, I've just been watching a video by a guy named James Collectibles. Seems like a really good sort of buyer POV video. And obviously his title is this the end of card shows? Now, to be honest, it kind of does, you know, point out some obvious flaws and some obvious issues at card shows lately as well. It's not going to be a structured video, this is just kind of like, after watching this, I feel like I have to discuss this, talk about it, just to get my opinion out there, but also just, I feel like a lot of people might feel the same way. At card shows nowadays, I feel like we're seeing a lot of the same vendors with a lot of the same pricing on stuff that is like a lot more like pricier than up-to-date comps. Now, I can understand, you know, people need to make money, people need to do certain things. But I feel like when you're after specific cards and then you're looking at comps and you're like, say for example, someone's got a card priced at like £100, but on the comp it's like £60. I would never expect to be like, look, give me it for 60, because I know they've got to try and make a little bit of money. If someone's got to buy it now on eBay for like £85, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, look, would you be interested in taking like 70, 75? Like, I'd offer more than what last sold was, but kind of under what I can buy it for on eBay. Just, you know, makes sense. Watching this video, it's crazy to hear so many of like the same excuses from certain vendors. Now, I don't know some of these vendors. I might know some of them as well. I've got nothing personal against them at all. But this is just kind of one of those things that it's starting to become a reoccurring problem in the card hobby and in the UK card hobby scene, like card show scene especially, is not keeping up to date with comps. You know what I mean? It's like, why have it for sale then? Or why even have it there if you're not even interested in selling it and you're just going to keep it anyway? Also, you know, certain people that, for example, like I think one of the videos I've just seen then, I think a guy had a PSA 8 card priced higher than a PSA 9 that's currently on sale on eBay. So understandably, you'd be like, look, you know, if I give you this then, which is going to be £10-15 less than the PSA 9 version that's currently on for sale, would you take it? And then it's excuses then that come out where it's like, oh, well, it's low rated, you know, people, or you might not even get the card and blah, blah, blah. But it's like the odds of that on a £45 card is really going to be very, very, very low. Do you know what I mean? If someone's selling that card, probably just looking to get rid and you just want to get a quick sale. So unfortunately for you being a seller at a card show, you know, the comp has been absolutely destroyed. And that is another topic for another time about eBay comps and obviously how certain sellers might actually kind of destroy certain cards and comps, but that's just the way the hobby is. That's the way these, you know, card stocks kind of go if you look at it that way. But anyway, I digress. In the video, obviously the guy's kind of just showing basically the reality of what it's like at card shows nowadays. Like, you're not getting most of these sellers vetted anyway. It's a bit like Whatnot. It's kind of a free-for-all. It's basically whoever can just give the money first for the table and be like, right, I want a table. I'm so-and-so TCG. That's me, done. And then obviously they get in there and, you know, they're trying to sell a lot of the stuff well above comps. And then obviously then it's hard to negotiate and stuff like that. So basically one of the first things like that I think is like a big issue is just keeping up to date with comps. Like if someone comes over to you and shows you an actual comp, like I've had it before, so I'm talking from like a vendor's point of view as well. I've been a vendor a lot in a lot of shows, and there's a reason why I've stopped vending in a lot of certain shows as well, and we can get onto that topic. But basically, if someone came over to me and said, look, mate, like, I mean, I don't know if you priced this like maybe 2 shows ago, but this is the price now that it's coming up as. Say if I've got something priced at like £175, someone comes over and says, look, mate, the last comp was like 140. I might just be like, oh, shit, okay. Well, what do you want to offer? And if they say, I'll give you 140, obviously I'll be like, well, no, I want a bit more from the last comp. So I might just be like, okay, give me like 155. And that is what you have, is a back and forth. The problem is a lot of these sellers nowadays, they don't even have that. They don't even like want to sell these cards. They want the price of what they've put it down as, even if it was like 5-10 shows ago, whatever it was. And that is a big issue. Like at the end of the day, everything, we all know the market's up and down, it fluctuates, you know what I mean? And if you want to be a seller and you want to build up good relationships and you want to, you know, like basically show that you're in the hobby as well, not just for the money, but maybe for people finishing personal collection cards, you know what I mean? Like maybe it might be worth just taking that little bit of a loss, but to build that relationship with someone else. To me personally, some vendors have burnt the bridges with me that I just won't really do any deals with or buy from them. But some of those vendors, I don't even know who they are, to be honest. It's just certain people that I've went up to, tried to do a deal, and they're just not even there. Do you know what I mean? They're just not even bothered about it. So that is a big issue, the first one. I think the second one is obviously the way we've spoken about it just then, the way the vendors do speak to obviously buyers. At the end of the day, as a vendor myself, when I have been a vendor, if someone comes over to me and says, oh my God, right, you might have priced this a little bit higher than what I want to pay. I've got a personal collection of this specific card. Would you be able to do this price? Sometimes I won't even look at the comp. I'll see what I've got it priced at. If it's like, say like it's a £40 card and someone goes, look, could you take like 25? Sometimes I won't even look at the comp. It might have gone up £15, but sometimes if I know the person is genuine and I'm like, okay, you know what? If they need it for a personal collection to give someone something that they actually are made up with, can end the day and be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I ticked off this personal collection card. And you've sort of made someone's day. You've obviously been able to sell something anyway, do you know what I mean? Even if you've just gotten your money back for what you paid. But that is the thing, is a lot of the time now, there's so much greed in the card shows and the card hobby that like people have lost sight of that. And that I think is a big problem to me. Now, probably my third point is going to be just how many card shows are in the UK right now. I think personally, and like I said, this is all my personal opinion, it's getting a bit out of hand. There's so many card shows, and to be honest, like there's probably just not enough buyers. It's kind of exhausting a lot of buyers out there. You know, when you've got like all the different like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball, One Piece, all these different sets, like even football stuff, everything that's coming out every single month, like everything that's coming out. Then you've got like a card show every single week. Like it gets a bit tiring for the buyers, and you can see it in some card shows. Like that's why I've stopped vending at a lot of card shows, because maybe the first show's been amazing, but then every single show is like every 3 months, but then every other show is doing it every 3 months. So then there's a card show every single week, which is always fun to go to, but it's so exhausting and there's no excitement there for the buyers. And then when you've got buyers coming in, a lot of them are just going to be, you know, whatnot guys, TikTok guys. It's just going to be the same guys looking to try and obviously then offer, you know, ridiculous prices, get crazy bulk deals. But then you've got the argument then with the vendors that obviously will never really want to do that. So then it's just so much of like a headache, you know what I mean? And yes, there are deals to be done, but I just think like with the amount of card shows that there are right now in the UK, you kind of like, there's only like a certain amount. I'd say there's only like a handful of card shows in the UK that are actually, like, I feel like they're in it for the hobby and everyone else, and you know, they want everyone to flourish as well, especially the vendors. And then there's other card shows that are clearly just in it for the money and just for their own gain, and you can tell it like a mile off. You can even feel it when you're at the card shows, and it kind of just feels like a bit of a clout fest sometimes, or you know, like it kind of just feels like they're mainly just sorting their friends out, and then they're just getting the money from everyone else, so just throw them in the corners or do whatever. But anyway, it's just, that is definitely my third point, is just there's way too many card shows. I look at people like, you know, Jordan that runs the Scotland card show and the guys that do the Dublin card show and stuff, and it's like, if you're doing a card show once or even twice a year max, it shows in the long run, from the Scotland card show especially, how much better it is and how much excitement you can bring, and like how many people you can actually get over the long term. I think Jordan's been doing it now for like 3 or 4 years with the Scotland card show. He does it once a year, and this next one that, you know, is happening in 2025 is the biggest one that's happening, and it's went from like there, and then now it's just blown up. And that is what happens when you're not in it for the money, you're not in it for the greed, but you're in it to obviously just better everything, better the hobby, and just be involved and create something, you know, like that you can basically just have so much fun with, but also everyone can flourish. The buyers can flourish, the sellers can flourish, everyone can have a great time. Like that is what is needed in the hobby, not like a show every other week, you know what I mean? And like this new, you know, like next it'll be like Bootle card show, next it'll be, you know, like Crosby card show, next it'll be, you know, like Peckham card show, and then it'll be all these different places, you know what I mean? I'll have Dudley card show, everything. It'll be every single location in the UK that has a town or whatever is going to have a card show. And then where is the space and time for people to be able to save up, to get excited, to, you know, be able to have the money there to even spend as well, do you know what I mean? And that is definitely one of the big issues that I run into with card shows as well. But obviously that is from both sides, whether it be a buyer and a vendor, and I think that is a reason why these card shows are definitely like deteriorating a lot. And I feel like one of the last points that we've got to make is it shouldn't be eBay comps, then card shows and what you want. It should be eBay comps, then card shows. I feel like card shows should be there because they're accessible to people. People are spending money to go to them. So there should be better deals at card shows than on eBay. It shouldn't be, oh yeah, the eBay comp's this, so then, okay, well, I want like double what the eBay comp is then. It's like, well, I'm here though, I can buy it now. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It should be, the card shows should always be cheaper than eBay, than any, some of the other comps. Obviously not on everything. There could be certain things where you've got a better condition card than on eBay and you can prove that, but that is the bread and butter of what it should be then. Is obviously people can see the cards, so that's what you should be doing. You should be proving then to people, this is a better condition card than the one that's sold on eBay. I probably think this is like a 9 or 10, so we're pricing it at that. Then the person can look at it and go, you know what, I agree. Then I'm able to look at the card, I'm able to assess it myself, and then go from there. But that isn't happening right now. It's almost like people are thinking like, oh yeah, card show prices are there and then eBay comps are there. And it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Now, the only thing that makes sense is you're almost like taking advantage of newer buyers, people that kind of don't understand comps, don't understand eBay, and just being like, oh yeah, we've got this, randomly slabbed card. It's definitely worth £35. They buy it, go up to another vendor and go, I just want to double check, how much, is this card you think's worth? Then they're able to check the comps because obviously, that's what everyone knows, but these people don't know who's bought it. And then they go, oh yeah, it's probably worth about £10, £15 max. And then they're just like, I've just paid £35 for this. You know what I mean? It's like, there's too much, it's too many people basically taking advantage of newer people in the hobby. Someone that might be coming into a card show being like, you know what, my kid's obsessed with Pokemon, kind of want to bring them for a day out, but you don't want to be getting rinsed, do you know what I mean? And you shouldn't be wanting to rinse them either. It should be a very honest transaction with people. And I feel like that is one of the big problems as well. And that's probably my last point on that, is at card shows, it's easy to take advantage of newer people in the hobby. At the end of the day, some card shows might be bringing in brand new people to the hobby. Obviously, like, kids and the families and stuff like that just want a day out. And the last thing you want to be doing is charging them like 3 times what they can get it for on eBay, but just because they don't know that. It should just be an open thing of like, yeah, it's around this value. Yeah, you might be able to make a little bit more than what eBay is, whatever, that's fine. But it shouldn't be a thing of, okay, yeah, well, we've got this just in case someone comes over and wants to basically buy it for that. And it's like, yeah, but the only reason that they're doing that is because they don't understand. Obviously, they can look at comps on eBay. Because I've had a few people like that, especially at Scotland Card Show one year. I had a family come over and the mum just didn't have a clue about anything. And the kid kind of did, but he didn't understand pricing. And she was like, can you just explain to me, like, how do you even work this out? And I literally got my phone out and was like, look, this is all you need to do. Just go on eBay, see that little number on the bottom, type it in on eBay, check obviously what prices they've got, look at the solds, make a little average, and then just be like, okay, so it's probably worth between £5 and £10. And that to me is amazing. And I've actually had a lot more sales when I've been able to be honest with someone and show them, like the reality of what it is and how you work it all out and all that. So that is my last point, is, the transparency and honesty, especially to new buyers. I think a lot of the card shows now, it's easy to take advantage of brand new people coming in, or families who don't have a clue, and kids who don't have a clue. And I just don't think it's right. And I think obviously a lot of the shows and a lot of the stuff isn't even vetted. It's really not vetted. A lot of these sellers, none of them are. It's like Whatnot. It's a free-for-all. It's whoever obviously is getting in first. And I just think, obviously you can price stuff however you want. It doesn't matter. I understand that side of things as well. You can price it 5-10 times the comp of eBay if you want. It doesn't really matter. It might not sell ever, but you can do whatever you want. But at the same time, there needs to be some things where it's like, stop taking the mick, you know what I mean? Like, you need to stop taking the a little bit and kind of be a little bit more honest with people and be like, okay, you know what? These people are coming in. Let's try and keep stuff accurate. Or even when people come over to your table, just being like, you know what, just letting you know some of these prices might be a little bit off because they were from like 2 card shows ago and you can go up and down. If you see anything you're interested in, let me know. We can sort out a price. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just felt like the urge and I really needed to like talk about this because it's something that I've always sat on. That's why I haven't, been vending a lot lately. You probably haven't seen any videos of me at shows much either. because there have been a few shows that I've missed, whether it's just been personal stuff or whether it's been just because I just don't think it's worth it. But I definitely want to start going to some shows some more and just see if there is anything still out there. Hopefully, you know, there will be deals with certain people. And I have done some amazing deals with people in the past. I really have, especially London Card Show. We've done some absolutely solid deals. I had so much fun doing that. But obviously, sometimes it can be the other way around. And sometimes you can turn up at a card show, spend half an hour to get there, walk around for like an hour and literally get nothing out of it because everything's like even more than eBay and no one wants to do any deals. So that is my sort of 2 cents on it all. I've got no personal gripe against anybody either in this video or obviously, you know, people that might think I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about anybody. Really, there's nobody I even think of or even like, you know, care about thinking of when it comes to stuff like that. People can do whatever they want. I'm just generalizing. Obviously, you know, over the whole thing, I'm just talking about it because I do see it. I just don't know who these people are most of the time. And even if I do know who they are, again, like I said, there's no personal opinion or gripe on them. I don't like, you know, I'm not trying to personally attack anyone in particular, but I just think there needs to be something that's mentioned and said, you know, from people who are obviously wanting to be buyers or vendors, you know what I mean? Like there needs to be someone talking about it and other people talking about it because it's just not really discussed that much, to be honest. Hopefully you enjoyed this video anyway, you enjoyed this discussion. I'd love to obviously have a little open discussion in the comments section. So if you want to, you know, write a comment, if you agree, if you disagree, you know, whether you're just neutral, whatever it might be, put it in the comments. Let's have a little discussion and let's sort of see where people are at with it all. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video.